Leeds 1, Manchester United 1. And when you look at the form Leeds are in, and when you look at the starting 11 that Manchester United had away at Ellen Road, 12:30 kickoff, it's not an easy game. It is actually a decent result. It was a decent performance. I just think we lacked that quality in the final third. Had Bruno, Amorim and Buma been fit, I think we win that game. I think that we were probably the better team. But when, particularly the first 65 minutes, when Dalot and Dorgu are two of the most advanced players that you're relying on to create something or score, and we don't score, are we shocked? No. So you can look at it and say, you know what, 1-1 versus Leeds away from home, it's not that bad. But the problem is we've won one game in 5. We've won one game in 5. Had we beat Wolves and had we beat Bournemouth and we drop points today, you're like, you know what, whatever, it's fine. You have to look at the bigger picture. We've won one game in 5. You could say we're 5th, cool. But we beat Wolves, we can be 4th. We beat Leeds, we can be 4th. And every time there's an opportunity to climb the table because everyone around us is dropping points, we can't beat West Ham. We can't beat Everton with 10 men. We can't beat Wolves. We can't beat Leeds. We can't beat a Bournemouth side that haven't won a game in 3 months. These are games we should be winning. Okay, we're not losing, but we should be winning. And yeah, I don't think that the performance was bad, and I don't think that, Amorim was awful today. I think had we had better players, I think we could have won that game. I think we controlled the game and were marginally the better side. And this isn't me ranting about Amorim today. I don't think he was too much at fault today for us dropping points. But it's 1 win in 5. That is not good enough. When there's an opportunity to get Champions League football and we're not taking advantage of it, it's just disappointing. Look, you've got to look at Jason Wilcox. The fact that we came with this squad is a disgrace. The fact that the Ineos is not looking to do anything in the January window is an absolute disgrace. The squad is bad. I can't fully blame Ruben Amorim, but what I can blame Ruben Amorim for is why is he lining up so defensively? He only took Yoro off because we went 1-0 down. He brings Zirkzee on, and all of a sudden we look 10 times better with Zirkzee. Why was Zirkzee on the bench to begin with? And people will be saying, but Alice, you said that Dorgu did well, right wing versus Newcastle, and you wanted to see Dorgu at right wing again. Yes, right wing in a back 4 versus Newcastle, Dorgu had a good half. And then we played Zirkzee right wing, and he wasn't great. But Dorgu was playing right 10, not right wing. Dorgu was right 10. If you're going to play with a winger, I kind of get putting Dorgu on the right of a Zirkzee. But if you're going to play with 10s and then change to more of a 4-4-2 the last 25 minutes when we got back in the game and looked all right, then you want Zirkzee up there. Because the minute he changes to more of an attacking approach and a back 4 and puts Zirkzee on, we look a lot better. And we looked more like we were going to score because our best chances weren't falling to Dalot or weren't relying on Dorgu to do a brilliant cross. We lacked attacking quality. Cunha was the only player with a bit of quality on the pitch today. And all it took was one good pass from Zirkzee and he scored. If we had a bit more attacking quality on the pitch that could play a few more good passes to Cunha, we probably would have won the game. Look, I've always said this. I want to talk about Zirkzee. I want to talk about Amorim. But I said this just before the Leeds goal. And I do think had Amorim not been such a coward today and started Zirkzee and not put 8 defensive players behind the ball, I think we might have won. Look, Amorim hasn't got a lot to work with, but he also decided to have 8 defensive-minded players. 8 defensive-minded players on the pitch versus Leeds when he could have had Zirkzee. And he could have last 10 minutes taken Dalot or Dorgu off for Shea Lacey. And people say, but Jack Fletcher came on and did nothing. But Shea Lacey is an actual right winger. He put Jack Fletcher right wing for no reason. I just think when you're 1-1 with Leeds and Leeds are making attacking subs to win the game, why aren't you looking to take Dalot or Dorgu off and just say, give Shea Lacey 10 minutes? Just go a bit more attacking. Because the minute you took a centre-back off for an attacker, we look better. And one thing I've noticed, and this is what really annoys about Ruben Amorim, is when he makes attacking subs, we're better for it. But he goes back to this cowardly approach. Versus Newcastle, the first half we played well because we went to attack them, we played a back 4. Second half, we parked the bus, we went back to a back 5. We were not good in the second half versus Newcastle, yeah? Do you know what's annoying? It's the Bournemouth game. Really good first half. We were 2-1 up, deserved to be 2-1 up. Then he went to a back 5, went more defensive. Then we conceded 2 goals right away. He brings on Maino. He makes attacking subs. We get back into the Bournemouth game. West Ham makes defensive subs. We concede a 1-1. Everton were 1-0 down against 10 men. He makes defensive subs. We don't score. When Amorim actually makes attacking subs, we are better. And it's something about Man United that Amorim keeps ignoring. Every time Amorim takes a defender off and brings an attacking-minded player, we are better. But it's always defender for defender. And Amorim got a sub spot on, taking Yoro off, bringing Zirkzee on. Fantastic. Not giving Amorim any blame for dropping points today because the blame is on Ineos because the squad Amorim had to work with was awful. But as a collective, Amorim has 1 win and 5. I'm not blaming Amorim for today, but he has 1 win and 5. And people say, but we're 5th, blah, blah, blah. But we could be 4th with a different manager that would make more attacking calls. We could be. We could be 3rd. You don't know. We could also be 9th, you could say. I don't think Amorim particularly did much wrong today. I think he probably should have started Zirkzee and he made the right sub there. But why doesn't Amorim make this call more? Why is Amorim so negative? Why is Amorim so defensive? He keeps ignoring the fact that we are better whenever we play in a back four. We're better when we look to attack teams more. We're better when we have more attacking players on the pitch. Because I said this before the Leeds goal. Overall performance hasn't been bad from United. We defended well, controlled the game. We just lacked the quality in the final third. We massively lacked quality in the final third, and Bruno was a big part of that. And I said too many defenders on the pitch. Every time we have a chance to fall to someone like Delo, there was too many defenders on the pitch. And I just felt that it was quite obvious at half-time, maybe we should get Zirkzee on, because when you've got 8 defensive-minded players on the pitch and Sesko's a bit, it's just Cunha or nothing. It's just Cunha or nothing. And I just was saying this before the game, I don't think we played bad, but the minute you take a defender off and actually have an attacker in an attacking zone, we look better. We had Dorgo and Delo in attacking zones who aren't attackers, relying on them to create and score. The minute you take one of them out in attacking zone and bring on an actual attacker in attacking zone, we looked better for it. And it's like the basics that we know as fans. It's worrying how Ruben Amorim takes so long to see that. It's worrying how it took Ruben Amorim a year to realise he might need to adapt to get the best out of his players, when us as fans realise that after 3 months. Like, it's frustrating because Zirkzee, first pass of the game, was a fantastic pass into Cunha and boom. Is Delo going to make a pass that good into Cunha? Probably not. Is Dorgo going to make a pass that good into Cunha? Probably not. They're defenders though. Is Agate going to make a pass like that? Agate had a much better game today, one of our better players, but no. But Zirkzee comes on and he changes the game. Zirkzee was giving Ronaldinho vibes. I've always said this with Joshua Zirkzee. Zirkzee actually is a good player. The problem with Zirkzee is, if you play him right wing, he's not going to be good. If you play him number 9, he's not going to be good. If you play him as this guy that is a 9.5 that can drop deep and has a lot of technical, clever players around him that he can do quick one-touch passing with, he's actually a really, really good player. But we don't have that. Amorim's not going to do that. It's probably not going to work for Man United. But Zirkzee needs players around him. Zirkzee was phenomenal today. Zirkzee arguably was man of the match, but we give it to Cunha. Zirkzee needs players around him. His vision, his one-touch passing is very good. When he doesn't have the players around him, he looks dumb, he looks stupid. But when he has the players around him, Zirkzee, he looks good. Zirkzee, I thought, was brilliant when he came on. His movements were good. He should have got 2 assists. He put on a plate for Sesko, and look, Sesko wasn't having chances to create for him. He's now having chances to create for him, and he's not putting it back with the net. He's a young guy. He needs to do better. We can talk about that another day. Zirkzee should have got 2 assists, but yeah, he's done very well. We saw how good Zirkzee was in the Palace game. He got a goal versus Wolves. He weren't great, but he was better today. If you're playing right wing, I've got Dorgo starting over Zirkzee if it's going to be a right wing. But then the minute I realised that Dorgo is a right 10, I was like, you might as well start Zirkzee. Do you know what I mean? If Dorgo's right 10. But look, the only thing that frustrated me was just when Zirkzee came on versus Leeds, because we went 1-0 down, and look what happened. We looked better. I just think, could he have taken off Dorgo or Delo just for 10 minutes at the end and brought on some fresh legs and Shea Lacey? And I just think when we bring on more attacking players, we're better for it. You know, he takes off a defender and all of a sudden we score. If it was 1-1 versus Leeds, he probably takes off Euro for Fredrickson. If it was 1-1 versus Leeds with 10 minutes to go, Zirkzee probably stays on the bench and he takes off Euro versus for Fredrickson. But 1-0 down, so he takes off Euro for Zirkzee. And I just wish Amorim would do this more. I think the title of this video is going to be something like, I noticed something about Man United that Amorim needs to change, or Amorim keeps ignoring, because I just think if Amorim keeps going 8 defensive players, back 5, really defend, and we can't keep clean sheets anyway, what is the point of being this defensive if we can't keep clean sheets anyway, when we know that if we play attacking, at least we score more goals? If we're always going to concede a goal every game, whether it be a back 5 and a back 4, but we know we score more in a back 4, we might as well play a back 4, because at least if we concede 1, we'll score 2, whereas if we play in a back 5, we'll concede 1, but then we struggle to score 1 sometimes. I just feel like Amorim needs to stop ignoring the fact that when he stops being a coward and makes attacking subs better, it took him 110 seconds. A ball to feet attacker put on the pitch and suddenly there's someone to keep the ball on the ground for Cunha to run onto. It was just the difference an attacking sub made that I just wish Amorim would do it more. Because even with 8 defensive players on the pitch, even with, we concede. I will say, I wanted to talk about other games. I thought Le Mans was excellent. I thought Le Mans was absolutely excellent. He made some fantastic saves. We had 2 days rest over Leeds, which could also explain why we finished the game better. Xisco needs to do better. Cunha needs better players around him. I thought Cunha was good. I think people got frustrated with Cunha for hogging the ball, giving it away. But I think Cunha's hogging the ball because everyone else around him is crap. And the minute Zirkzee comes on, him and Cunha, the duo, kind of work well. The minute Cunha actually has someone half decent and has had to play the ball off, he's passing it more, he's doing better. Cunha was trying to do it all himself today because he had so much crap around him. Agati had a decent game. I think Heaven had a really good game just to position him for the goal, let him down, but also Delo could have positioned himself better. I thought Leach was solid. I thought Shaw was solid. Agati was definitely better than Casemiro today. I feel like Casemiro, when he plays once a week, is fine, but because he's playing twice a week at the moment, he's been poor again. But I think the biggest miss, again, was Bruno Fernandes. Doogie spot on here. I hope the Man United would be better without Bruno Fernandes crowd watched those last 2 performances. It was poor. We are not a better side without Bruno. Do I think that Bruno can be a liability at times playing a deeper midfield? Yes, because Amorim is playing him a deeper midfield and he's not a deeper midfielder. Bruno Fernandes can be a liability at times, but we are much better with Bruno in the team. And I think that should be common knowledge. Thank you for watching. Bye.